All right, welcome to Rock Vegas, everybody. It's Glenn Rockney here, and I have a special guest today. Special guest to talk about this wonderful Raiders win over the Chargers, 31-26. It's Matt Fallon. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. I picked my pants up off the floor. Very nerve-wracking there.
Yes, agreed. I had dark thoughts through that last drive. Dark thoughts.
We've seen it too many times.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So let's talk about just that last two plays before we get into the rest of the game. Isaiah Johnson, they target him twice. The Chargers target him twice. And it's crazy because Mike Williams goes down right after Isaiah Johnson makes a nice play on Mike Williams. And then they target Isaiah Johnson again. What's going through your mind in those last two plays? Do you have any hope?
No. I don't know. It's weird, man. Like it was very reminiscent of like any game that we've seen in the last 20 years where it's like, you're like, there's no way they lose this, right? And then it's like, here we go. And then I was thinking like they were just dicing us up in the middle of the field with Keenan Allen, and they didn't target him one time. Like I thought for sure they would just run like a slant with Keenan Allen. Yeah. And there's 6 points, and they didn't. So, I mean, I kudos to the Chargers for running two fades at the goal line, which are, 50-50 balls, Yeah. Like unless it's Carr and Crabtree, like it's like.
Yeah, straight up. That's what that reminded me of. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like even when the Raiders called that and they won that game against the Saints and it was like a 2-point conversion with Crabtree, it was like, oh man, that's just such a 50-50 ball with the game on the line, and Herbert, dude's gonna be good for a long time.
You called it. You did. I did not. You did. I'll give you that one.
He's just got his arm talent is just insane. And I was kind of telling my dad, I'm like, man, I hope we don't lose to this pimple-faced kid right now, dude.
He looks like a women's soccer player to me. I always thought that, but like, nonetheless, he just
doesn't look intimidating. And like, I'm like, we're about to get.
He can ball though, dude. Like, no,
yeah, and then
he's good.
Yeah, so I was surprised that they didn't run like a Keenan Allen slant, or even when they still had a timeout. No, they were out of timeouts by the time they got down to the 5.
Correct. Yeah, the last one they had 6 seconds left, right? I think it was what it was.
Dude, and then of course they had to keep 1 second on the clock. I was like, God.
That was I was like, nah, all right, well,
yeah. And then like I saw it live. When I saw it live, I called Holly because she wasn't home, my wife, and I said, you're gonna have to. I'm letting you know right now, it might be a bad week, Like, and it was like, And I'm watching it, and I'm like, the ball bounced off the ground, Like I saw it. I was like, that ball hit the ground. There's no way that was a catch.
It did, live. I could tell. I was like, no way.
I had to see the replay to verify, but I was like, immediately I thought incomplete, and I'm glad that it was. But what I was telling people is, I'll take any Raiders win. Any way I can get it, because we've had too many of those games that we lost, where you're like, Rolando McClain's covering Calvin Johnson 50 yards downfield. How can you lose this game? And you do, So anytime you can get a win, I'll take it. I don't care how ugly it was. But the defense, they come up in big situations, but it'd be nice to like get some stops after a score every once in a while and
shut down, like a shutdown inning for a pitcher where you're like, dude, we just gave you 3 runs, and you just go out there and load the bases. You know what I mean? Type thing.
And they got one of them. They got one of them today. It was like we scored. It was 21-17. We get a 3 and out and go down and score again. And like that's big, and we just don't get enough of that.
No. And well, it's funny because I when I'm watching that last part of it, I'm the same way with the 1 second left. I'm like, well. Stopped them once. No way they go twice. And I'm thinking in my head, like, if I'm the Chargers, I have a 6'6" mobile quarterback, a decent run game, something you could do something where you get Herbert on the run. And I'll tell you as a Raider fan, I don't expect the Raiders to cover for 5 seconds. You know what I mean?
No. Lucky if you get 4.
Yeah. So you basically are saying, no, I'm just going to throw it right away when Isaiah Johnson's glued to the guy. You know what I mean? Like that was incredible. I forgot that the Raiders were playing the Chargers momentarily. That was the thing where I was like,
Nevin,
oh wait,
Nevin Lawson, Isaiah Johnson, and then who would even be the joiner? Like I don't even know. Like at that point with Mullen out,
that was huge.
Nixon. I have to look at the snap count. can't remember if Nixon is active now or if he's still hurt, but like their depth.
Nixon has been playing. He had some special teams reps. I don't know how much I saw him on the actual defense though.
Yeah, their reps they're just not. They're banged up at corner. So it's like you got Isaiah Johnson getting basically his first reps at corner in weeks. You know, he was playing safety. He played like 6 safety snaps.
Crazy.
You know, against the Chiefs, and then he hasn't really played corner that much. And so then he had those 2 plays, and he had the one on the sideline where I thought he made a good play. They called offensive pass interference.
Yeah, I got scared. I got scared there.
I don't know what that call was. Like, I don't even know why they called offensive pass interference.
Should have just been nothing. Yeah.
And so that was a pass breakup too if they didn't call the penalty, because once they accept a penalty, they take away the pass breakup. But so technically he had 3 pass breakups today, which is more than Nevin Lawson has had in a year and a half. So, correct. I mean, he should be getting snaps over Nevin Lawson 100% of the time.
Right. No, and I'm interested to see when they get Arnett back supposedly next week. I think that's what Gruden was talking about, supposedly. So if they get Arnett back, I mean, how much playing time do you give Johnson at that point? There's a reason.
Well, Arnett practiced all week.
Yeah.
He practiced, and, he went and saw the doctor, and they said it was good. So I think they wanted to get him back into game shape, and I think he probably will play next week. But then now, what's up with Mullen? I think it was a hammy, which is good. Like he missed the game, but it's actually good.
Yeah.
Like if he pulled a hamstring or something, maybe he'll miss a week.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah, exactly.
Ingold, I guess, was in the injuries are another topic I was kind of interested to talk about. We're just getting banged up, but you can't. I mean, it's hard because it's like I want to play like the victim. But there are teams out there that are barely able to field the team right now. And the Chargers are one of them. They ruled out Justin Jackson before the game and Bosa. And, it's not the Chargers defense that you're used to with the names out there,
No.
And then I guess Ingold was in the hospital.
Ribs, right? Was it ribs?
Yeah. So, I mean, what could that possibly be? I think maybe maybe he broke a ribs. But, I usually don't go to the hospital right away for that. So.
Yeah, that was weird. I saw his picture. I saw his picture doing the thumbs up on the hospital bed, and I was like, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
And
not ideal.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm telling you, that's a big loss for the Raiders, dude. People will be like, "Oh, you lost your fullback." It's different. They run that offense through him. So
do they even have another one on the practice squad? They don't have one on the practice squad. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
You have to bring somebody in now.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, but it's funny because Ingold is so vital on every single big run. He has a key block, and in the play he got hurt on, Jacobs wouldn't have scored. Was that Jacobs' longest run of the year?
It had to have been. No, it had to have been. He hasn't had any of those monster runs
this
year.
16-yarder.
Yeah, Booker's been getting the big runs. Not
Booker. Booker looks nice, man. That was something I wrote down. I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Preseason, everybody was kind of mad at John Gruden and Mayock, right? They wanted a backup,
hands
right?
up. Yep.
No, I'm with you. Me too. I'm like, Devontae Booker, really? A Sacramento guy like me, I'm like, he, got washed out in Denver, but he's doing most of his opportunities, and it's he's a hard runner, like Jacobs is. They never go down on first contact, and I don't know. I'm happy that they have him, and he's doing a good job, and it's now Richard's not getting as many snaps, and it's one of those things where I think that the Raiders need to maybe think about locking Booker up, for a couple of years, maybe do it like they did with Richard, where they do a 2-year $6 million, because he'll sign. Running backs it's tough because they're people say they're a dime a dozen, but how many backups how many years have we had not even one?
No.
We haven't had. Now we have a couple that can go out there and get 6-7 yards a carry. So
yeah, it looked great today. I saw some people tweeting about it. They're like, Jacobs, man, what's going on? I'm like, Jacobs was fine. This is what happens when you have a good backfield, right? You have Josh Jacobs. You don't need him to carry the ball 30 times a game. I don't want him to. He's obviously it hurts him when he does. He had to sit out all practice all week. He still looked great today. I thought he looked really good. But
Jacobs looks fresh, dude. He looks fresher.
Yeah, fresh after missing practice all week. I'm like, dude, just give him a day off of once a week at least, right? So which I think they have been kind of doing. But Booker, he has that extra gear, which the one thing Jacobs I think doesn't have is breakaway speed. I don't think Jacobs has that.
Oh, yeah, not at all. And that's why people were like, it's tough to take a running back in the first round anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't agree with the pick.
I'm with you.
I don't agree with like first round running backs at all. I'm glad we have Josh Jacobs though. You could be both. You know, like I'm happy they have him, but and then especially a guy that doesn't have the breakaway speed. And you know, he never even had like a breakaway run last year. You know, he doesn't have that like last. He almost broke one today though. I can't remember the exact play, but there was one play where he like the safety tripped him up.
Yes. I know you're talking about.
And he would have been that probably would have been a 50-yarder right there. Like he was about that's fraction of getting just blown by the guy. But see, he never goes down on first contact, and his cuts look a lot fresher the last 2 weeks. Like he looked banged up.
I think it was the hip. It had to have been the hip, man. Because when you can't plant like that, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah. So like that's the thing is he does that hard like plant step, and then he just bursts out of it, and he wasn't able to do that. So. One thing I will say like about Gruden is he's game planned very well the last 2 weeks, considering like all the injuries and stuff. He's made some mistakes though too.
Oh, we'll get to that. We are gonna get to that. Trust me. Yeah.
I was about ready to throw my TV. I was so mad. I'm like, you don't like not going for it on 4th and 2 was wild to me. Like I'm like, you just 2 yards to win the game. You know, that's how I always look at it.
When they could not stop you, you have over 6 yards of carry. Like that's egregious. That's
the only way I would throw it deep is if I'm going for it on 4th down.
Boom, there you go. That's exactly the case. Exactly, you don't throw it.
So they come out and they don't go for it, and you know your defense isn't going to stop them.
And they didn't. They went almost 90 yards, damn near, like on that play.
Dude, Tyrod Taylor almost got that 2-point conversion. Like he spun out of like 10. I was like, this is just going to be a typical.
Well, that was a huge play, dude. That was a huge. It was huge play because like I'm thinking in my head like Herbert got hit, Crosby fell on him kind of awkwardly, and he had to come out to play. Now, in my opinion, if I'm Anthony Lynn, I burn that timeout because to tie that game, I burn the timeout to where I can get Herbert back in because I believe that's the rule is you can get your player that came out injured back in if you call a timeout if he's fine. And I would have burned the timeout if I was Anthony Lynn because that 2-point conversion was severe. They ran out with Tyrod Taylor, and thank God for Nick Kwiatkowski because
well, I mean, like the Raiders, like I think it was like all like 6 defenders like touched him. I'm like, dude, make a tackle.
Yeah, it looked like I was like, they blew this play up. Yeah,
there was a lot of that. There was a lot of that on the defense again. Like I love Jonathan Abram. He brings that fire, but I'm gonna have to rewatch the tape. He is out of position often, and blown coverage. He blows coverages a lot, and then he'll miss tackles. There was like the deep ball that like went 50 yards, and like instead of just knocking the ball down and it's 4th down, he like goes for a pick and it goes right through his hand.
Yeah,
and it's like just little things like that. So I think the Raiders defense like has some young talent to build around, but it's like tough with like coaching right now. It doesn't seem like they have. I mean, there were so many blown coverages today, and it's like. That leads me to believe it's not the players. Like, if it's like one, you could blame the player. Like, hey, he made a mistake, and like,
like Lawson, we single out Lawson, right? We know Lawson is not good in any system. We're like, no, he sucks.
No, but there was like 50 blown coverages today. Like it was like unreal. Mike Williams wide open. Like he's 6'4". Like how do you miss him?
You don't miss him.
Then like Keenan Allen, like. There's no one pressing him on the line. He's just getting a free release, just like running that slant every play. I knew Keenan Allen was going to have a good game. And when I heard that he might miss it, I was like, I'm not going to hope any player misses the game. But if there's one Charger I can choose to miss the game tomorrow, probably Keenan Allen.
No. And I'm glad they didn't have Eckler either. I know that he's been gone for a while, but I was like, man, Eckler would have made so many more plays.
Anthony Morrow on the last drive, or not Anthony Morrow, Nicholas Morrow.
Oh, you're talking about basketball here, right? Yeah, I was like,
on the last drive, he had 3 missed tackles on the running back that were just like crucial, dude. Like we had him stopped, and then like he just could not make a tackle.
Yeah.
So you got to just get, you got to get guys that can make plays, and I think they're going to get a little healthier this week. It'd be nice to get like Mo Hurst back. Gruden said he should be back next week.
And Miller should, in theory, right? If he was questionable game time decision, you would think you get Miller back.
Yeah, Miller. Sorry about that.
No, that's all good.
And Miller, he's crucial. And I was not a big Colt Miller fan until last year, and I like questioned that pick a lot, but he's really developed, and a lot of it goes to Tom Cable. Even Brandon Parker looks like a pro. It's like nobody could have saw that coming. I mean, Brandon Parker he looked like like he didn't even belong on a Canadian football field.
No.
And then now all of a sudden, like, I don't think he gave up a pressure today. Like, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I usually wait a couple days to look at the pressure stats. There was definitely pressure around Derek, like a few times, especially in the first half.
A lot of it was from Sam Young, dude. Like, I'm telling you right now, I watched Sam Young 5 plays in a row, and it was 5 QB pressures. 3 hits, 5 pressures. And I'm like, you got to have a better option than that.
And Trent's out for the next month, so that's what they say.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I would say Parker should start.
Right. Well, yeah, you would think, right? Because if Miller comes back, the only reason Parker's playing left tackle right now is because Miller's out. So that makes sense. And I feel weird saying Brandon Parker's the better option, right? Like I feel weird saying that, but he is over Sam Young.
It's weird because like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, everybody wants Brandon Parker, cut, never see him again. And then, he's doing his job. He's not a starter, but he's a backup, and he's not supposed to be a starter. So, he's supposed to be that swing tackle that comes in when they need him, and he plays good enough, and he's doing a good job. And you don't want to go long-term with Brandon Parker, but your 6th offensive lineman should be startable, and that's pretty much all you can ask for. I was shocked when they traded David Sharp before the season, because I thought David Sharp was better.
I liked him last year. Yeah.
Yeah, and Parker's doing a great job, and I don't know. I can't even really I don't know. I was pissed off that he made the team again, and he's doing a good job with the time he has. I mean, you can't ask for much more. You got your backup line in there. I thought this game was gonna be ugly, man. They start first 2 plays of the game, they go drop 4-step drops. And Ingram blows by Sam Young twice.
That first series was an abomination. And then,
3rd and 10, then you run.
Yeah, and the second down is empty backfield. I'm like, okay, you want to go empty backfield with your 2 starting tackles out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
even the 4th down, the 3rd down, like you're going deep to Ruggs, like instead of just running it, and for a while they were running it towards Sam Young and like not up the middle where you have your 2 guards and your center,
Yeah.
I'm like,
no. Look, John does some questionable stuff, man. He does some questionable stuff. One thing is weird. You look at Derek Carr's stat line, and I don't think he played particularly well today. I thought he made some great throws, but I also thought he looked a little skittish, like he didn't trust the tackles around him. He almost looked like a little robotic at times. That 3rd quarter, he was fantastic, but he only had 165 yards. He couldn't even break 200 yards today. But what do you think about Derek Carr today? I mean, I think he's been great this season. What do you think about him?
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing I will say about him, and this is just, based off what I've always said, is, well, he's winning games. So
that's all we ask.
When people, say, okay, cool, I don't care about his 400 yards and 2 touchdowns if we lost. And that's what the Derek Carr haters will say. Mm-hmm. The haters. And so in my opinion, if he has a bad stat line and they win, then he deserves the same break that he gets, or the same concept. And I think that today was one of those games, like last week his stat line was bad, for a starting quarterback, and he had 1 touchdown and 130 yards last week, or something.
He probably should have had a couple of touchdowns though with the Ruggs.
Yeah, a lot of drops and stuff. And, but last week, he won a tough game on the road. It was cold, and windy. And then this week, you have your whole, 3 out of 5 starters on the offensive line out, and you're getting pressure there was a lot of pressure on him today.
It seemed like,
but he was getting pressured about 40% of the snaps, and he made the throws when he had to, and they converted. I want to say it was 7 of 13 third downs. So he did his job, and that's the Gruden offense is. You have to get those 3rd downs. If you're not going to win with Gruden, if you don't get the little 3rd and 4s and 3rd and 3s, and he puts you in position with those by doing the little 4-yard route to Darren Waller, the 3-yard route to. I wish we would, do some little screens to Ruggs, but we'll get there. But he does those little 3-4 yard chunks so he can put you in 3rd and 3. And Derek he's done a good job this year of getting those. And I think that's the difference between this year and last year. The Raiders are converting a high clip on 3rd downs, and they're scoring in the red zone. I can't stress that enough. Last year, they did not score in the red zone. They were I want to say they were 29th in the league in touchdowns in the red zone last year.
Terrible.
Yeah, and this year, I mean, I don't know the exact number, but it's better than last year.
No, and they found out Waller's good in the red zone. Like that's my big thing. Waller's good. They're like, wait, my 6'5" freakish tight end actually is pretty good in the red zone. Who knew?
That was my next comment. I'm like, you have Waller, who's crazy. Like he's going to catch anything within like his arm span. And like today, they just tossed it up to him, just like every other team in the NFL does. They find their biggest target and they throw it up to him in the end zone. You take a risk there. Like that was a second down play. So you take that risk and then on third down, you run it or whatever, So yeah, so now they're starting to convert in the red zone. So that's one thing that's making Carr look a lot better too, is he's scoring touchdowns. He's last year, he's never had more than 30, I don't think. I think he had 28 in his MVP seat.
Yes.
So I don't think he's ever had 30. And I don't know if he's even going to get it this year, but he's on pace to like have his best statistical season in everything. So I think that what people don't realize with Carr is, there's always one spectrum to another. There's always like, I hate him. He's bottom 10, or I love him. He's top 10. Okay. They don't need him to be top 10, and he's definitely not bottom 10. If he plays like a top 12 quarterback, right there, the Raiders will win a lot of football games. They have pieces around him. They have a good running back, a good running game. They have good tight end. Hopefully we can get Ruggs and, somebody cooking so that he has a number one wide receiver. Right now it's Aguilar, and it's not even close. Aguilar's clearly the team's best.
It's the number 15. Make Ruggs switch to 15. I guarantee you Ruggs goes off. No, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's been amazing, dude. Like, I have an Eagles fan friend, Tyler, who's, he's an Eagles fan. He was like telling me, that's a sneaky pickup. Like, he's not a bad football player. He makes those drops that you're just like, but he's been the Raiders' most consistent and best wide receiver this season. It's not even really close. So,
yeah. Even that touchdown he had was crazy where, like, he caught it and it was like still in his head. It was like holding a baby. It was like the weirdest thing. I was like,
there was no PI on that. Like the guy hit him. Like
he did. He dragged him down.
Yeah, it was like there's no PI. Like, come on.
No, because that was a turning point in the game. I thought too was that play, because the way the Raiders ended the half. Another thing, like I wanted to bring this up. The way the Raiders ended the first half was abysmal. Like,
I mean? I wanted to skip that part. Yeah.
Nope. Sorry. But
that was John Gruden. That was John Gruden.
No, dude. And I agree. So you have 19 seconds left. It's fine. The Chargers tie it up 14 all. We take it. That's okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's not great, right? But you'll take it. But then the fact is you have your quarterback. You have 19 seconds left, and you think you're going to get some kind of drive going. When the passing game is not going well, you have 40 yards.
No. I think they were trying to. I'll have to see the all-22, but, like, I think they tried to do like that play that they hit on Ruggs twice this year so far.
Mm-hmm.
And
deep
I
cross,
think that's the play they were trying to do, but when you're getting like touched in 4 seconds, it's just not smart in that situation. Like your defense really, the letdown for me was, it was 3rd and 16 again. And the Raiders are playing 9 yards off, so they catch the ball and they get their momentum going. They're going to get 14 or 15 yards guaranteed. And then of course, like, and then a couple times they just don't even have a corner on the wide receiver. Like that play, I think it was Keenan Allen again.
Yes.
He's just jogging in the middle of the field, So I don't know, man. The defensive schemes, the blitz packages look a lot better. I'll give them that. Like they're running some stunts, and they're doing what an NFL team should do.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing basic NFL stuff. Like, okay, here's a stunt, or like, we're going to blitz Abram. But one thing I will say is they don't disguise Abram to blitzes very much.
No, he goes up there and he starts yelling it and shit. You're like, what the hell? All right, I know he's coming. Yeah.
This is what he's doing, So
yeah.
I don't know, man. Overall, I think it's you take the wins and you take them in the NFL and you say, you know what, you won a game. Because, I mean, look at Tampa's getting boat raced right now.
Bad.
And
yeah, somebody might have had mine at Tampa -4. Hand up here. Maybe me. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I think like Tampa, the game against, even the Raider game against Tampa, I don't think Tampa's that good.
No, they didn't win by 25 points like by the score was. It was like
the Raiders were like went down 4 and then it was 3rd and 16 and they let them, and it's like, they had a chance to win that game too. Yeah. So I think that the 3 losses the Raiders have, they played so bad and had a chance to win. And so that's what makes me feel like they have a good chance to run off a couple wins here. I know they have the Chiefs coming up, and I don't expect them to beat the Chiefs again. Like, that'd be wishful thinking to think, this team's going to go beat the Chiefs again. But, they got the Broncos, the Falcons, the Jets, so got to get 2 out of the next 4 games. I think they need to win at least 2 if they're going to talk about going to the playoffs, obviously, But this is very similar to last year where it's like you're 5-3, they were 6-4, and you're like, okay, you got a couple really winnable games coming up, There's no reason they should lose to Denver next week. None.
No, God, no. No, you're right. And what I do like about the Raiders is they're a lot more battle tested. And I know the schedule in 2019 was kind of a gauntlet to start, but I don't think it was this level with the Raiders the first 6 games playing, this great of quarterbacks, this good of defenses, this good of offensive lines. Denver is not going to give you what really any of the Raiders' first 6 opponents gave you. And the Jets, the Raiders lost to the Jets last year. The Jets are like half of what they were this year. So
if they lose to the Jets this year.
Yeah, I got a bottle of Clorox for that game.
I hope the Jets win this week, and so that way they're not like the 0 for team. Anytime a team's 0 for something, I'm like, the pressure of being that team that you're going to lose to this team, Like we did it with the Niners that one year. The Niners were 0-6.
That was the Jason Campbell rain game when it was really rainy. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and they beat us. And then we did it last year. I mean, we lost to some teams that we really shouldn't have lost to. But I don't think they're gonna. I don't see this team having a letdown like they did last year. I think they're much better, and I think that they have pieces on offense and defense that are playing leadership football. Like Nick Kwiatkowski, he's clearly the best defensive player on the team.
Yes.
And he's in there, the team just changes. So
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I think we got some good things to look forward to. I'm happy with pretty much everything. I'm a little mad about the way that, there was stretches in this game and every game that the Raiders play in where it's like you're just like, what the are you doing, dude? Like, what are you fucking doing? Please just tackle the fucking guy. Like,
no, every game
they're throwing to Keenan Allen. Like,
yeah,
he is their best player. Like the announcers were circling him every play.
Yeah.
Like he's right there.
Schlereth was like, oh, watch out for Keenan Allen here. It's like, Schlereth had a moment. It was crazy. I was laughing. Like Mark Schlereth, I swear to God, he was having an out of body experience the entire game. Like in this game, he was just going oh terrible. Man, you know what? I was like, you know what? It was fine. I just laughed. I'm like, dude, you're not even announcing at this point.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad as the radio though. I don't think Musburger's as bad as people say he is. But I'm driving home. I went to my grandpa's house and I'm driving home. I'm trying to get there before and the Raiders it's like a kickoff return. And he's like, Jalen Richard, he's gonna score, and he's down at the 40. And I'm like,
yeah.
How'd you go from scoring to down at the 40? He wasn't even to midfield. He's freaking out. He's gonna score.
Well, though, the players' wives aren't in the stands for him to make comments on, so it's an off year for him as well.
I don't give him much flack for that one.
No.
He just said what everyone else was thinking.
Hey, AJ McCarron was a winning quarterback at the time, and he was winning then, and it was at the peak of his career, and hey. But it's nuts, man. It's nuts. The way I look at this schedule coming up is they look like trap games because there's no easy wins for the Raiders, right? Because there could be easy wins, right? When you're up, what were they up 28-17, right? In this game, you have should have been done right then and there. Should have been done. They had a chance to step on the throat. So they don't step on the throat of the Raiders. That's my next step for the Raiders is just step on the throat of the team that you're playing and be like, no, this is a wrap. Because I watched some of these teams, even Minnesota today. Minnesota sucks. And Minnesota just blew out the Lions. It was never a game. And you're like, damn, man, where is this with this Raider team? That's just what I need.
I would say the closest thing to it was the Saints game. It never felt like the Saints were going to win that game.
To you, maybe. I was scared. Yeah, but
they didn't know. In the fourth quarter, the Raiders were always up by 2 scores. That's the closest thing they've had to a blowout, and it wasn't.
You got the score prediction right. I've seen it. You got the exact score prediction right. So maybe you weren't tripping.
Every week 3 times, you're gonna hit on one of them.
Yeah.
I think I've 3 weeks in a row. I've offered a free 2 free T-shirts from DC Customs if someone got the score prediction right. And the Raiders have been just having the weirdest scoring games ever.
Yeah,
like
nobody saw 16-6. Yeah,
31-20, 31-26. Nobody guessed that. So
yeah.
we'll see. Maybe next week. I'm predicting 41-17 Raider.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you we're on blowout watch now. Okay, I got you.
I'm going with. Yep. So
going on blowout watch. I do like it. I mean, and maybe like a throwback to the McFadden game where what did they win, like 50 something to whatever against the Broncos a few years, or not a few years ago.
59-14, dude. It was crazy because that was when we weren't very good, and my dad and I we watched football. We would always watch Raider games together, and it was always like this today, like where it's just stressful, but you would end up losing, right? And then it was like 21-zip Raiders, and I look in the first quarter, and I look at my dad, and I'm like, "Are we gonna win?" And he's like, "I don't think so. Like we're the Raiders."
That Kyle Orton, watch out! Yeah,
it's like 42. Like 42-0, and the Broncos scored. I'm like, here we go, and then they end up with, it was just like, I'm just never safe. Like today,
the psychology of a Raider fan is the best, dude. It's the best.
I thought today, like, there was no way we're gonna win this football game. Like I'm like, there's no way. Like, and then like, to have when they left that 1 second on the board, I was like, this game.
That was it.
There's no way we're gonna win this game. So, but we got it, and I'm going 41-17 next week. That's my prediction.
It's recorded. There's a receipt for it. So if you, I will clip this right now, and I won't put it up. But if you're even in the ballpark, like if it's just a blowout win, then I got that receipt for you. So it's perfect. So yeah, and that's the thing about, man. Like we want to put these wins under a microscope, and like, look, the Raiders are what they are. They can't play defense. They're good on offense. My critique on John Gruden is, look, you have to know your personnel, right? You know your personnel. You know that your offense is good and honestly great, in my opinion. I think it can be great. There's a couple things you need to get going. Your defense sucks, okay? Like, it's not good. Anything you get out of your defense is a plus. So when you get in these 4th and 2 situations, lean on your offense. I'd much rather see you go down with the ship with your offense rather than being like, no, I got the 2002 Bucks. That's what I got as my defense. Like, it's just know your personnel. That's all it is. He doesn't,
the one thing I'll mention is, if Ingold didn't go out, that's his 4th down move, dude. He only runs Ingold up the middle. So Ingold wasn't in there. He's like, I don't know what to do,
Good point.
He runs that same FB dive, and they always get it, and they always get it by like 3 inches.
Yeah, it's always never hey, look at the ball. Yeah,
run a damn bootleg with like Waller in the flat, and you're gonna get a first down every time.
Well, that's what they did against the Saints in the red zone, which I was like, whoa, on 4th and 1 when they did that, just that tight end flat, play action tight end flat, and I was like,
do that on 4th down every time, and you're gonna
wide
get it.
open.
Or Carr runs for the first down, So
yeah, which he did today, which that dive, real fast, dive.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna get a little winning streak. We're on a 2-game winning streak now, but I think we're gonna have a 3-gamer here next week. I don't usually predict wins like that. I'm usually very pessimistic about my approach, and it's a good time to wrap it up because I decided that I don't want to charge my phone ever. So
good point. Yeah, no, this is about the time I do. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm running on 4% now.
4%. Well, let's wrap it up right now. So just plug all the stuff you're on. You're on Silver and Black today, correct?
Yeah. I'm doing articles for them. And then I've been on the radio there twice.
Is that Raider Nation Radio?
Yeah, just plugging away. I do the good, the bad, the ugly, or the good, the okay, the ugly, because I don't like to be negative. So I do the okay.
The okay.
No matter where I put Derek Carr, I just get comments all week. Like, people are like, why'd you put him in the good category when he wasn't good? Why'd you put him in the bad category, you hater? I'm like, no matter what, you're always wrong. And then
can't be objective, man.
And then me and Chris started a podcast, but we've been I got married, and then
congrats.
He's been busy, so we've been kind of just, we'll come up with an episode here pretty soon. But just, doing the writing thing, and it's easier to write for them when they win. That's for sure. So.
I was dreading this episode if they were going to lose. I was like, dude, I'm going to have this fucking Matt Fallon on. We're going to be fucking bad together.
I would have been like drinking, dude. I would have been like, I'd get on here and be like, fire this guy.
Fucking glass case of emotion. Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, well,
but I will say, I'm going to leave it at this. I hope Corey Littleton gets better.
Yeah, me too. Because otherwise, you or I could cover better than him. So you're at Fattest Malin on Twitter. I'm sure anybody who listens to the show, there's no way they don't follow you. But if they don't, please follow him on Twitter. Check out all his work. Thanks for joining me, man. I really appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good one.